Hello, welcome to my show that's hosted by Unique Voices in Films and the Path of Consciousness. I'm your host, Weam Namou, and we continue with the second segment with Jaya.
Hi.
There's no way we would have finished everything within that half an hour. There's so much more to share. Um, Aside from working with you, with coming to sessions and learning that we are from the same past group and enjoying having tea and whatever at your kitchen table as we chatted. Um, you offer the fire ceremonies, the full moon
Yes.
fire ceremonies. You do this monthly. You've been doing this. I know we tried to figure out the years. It was a little bit difficult, but it's before COVID. We got to that point, but I've been involved in them. I go whenever I can. Last year was very busy for me. This year, I already made it to January, and I felt that was a good sign. It was a good sign that I was
Right.
able to make it. Um, and you've been so gracious and generous, where in the past, seeing my crazy schedule, said, listen, well, you came to a couple of, I had the Ancient Wisdom
Yes.
Council at my house.
I
So
came to
we
your
would come
house.
to my house, then you would have the fire ceremony, and I would go to your house, and you said, this is too much for both of us. And you were very gracious in offering that we combine the gathering, because a lot
Right.
of the people are kind of looking for the same thing, wanting to
Yes.
enjoy the same experience.
Right.
I also, through the Path of Consciousness, I had a retreat, which was again similar. We studied in the same school. I mean, we have so much in common. And I thought, oh my gosh, thank you, Jaya, because that I want to really provide that space for people. I studied in Lynn Andrews School just like you did. And her whole thing was about passing on these teachings,
Yeah.
the importance of it. And as we just even discussed, the teachings you passed on to Susan, I ended up receiving them, and the circle comes whole in that way. It feels like that's really, we're just called to do that,
Coming
right?
full circle.
Coming full circle, and now I feel like more than ever, especially with Lynn's passing, the world is really looking for something very deep and wholesome and spiritual, but that does not take you off the wall, like where you can be stable and practical, and you really provide that. So we have combined that. So for people, if you're interested to, this is you're so committed to this, where it's on the full moon, every month.
Yes, directly on the first day of the full moon.
It's directly, yes. And what I really like is that your home is so perfect for that. So in the summertime, we get to go outside in your beautiful backyard and do a bonfire.
Yeah.
In the winter, we get to come inside and experience, the fireplace, which I took a video last time that I want to share with the audience. I'm going to do
Okay.
that really quickly so that they can kind of see why this is so beautiful. That was very short, but next time I'm going to do something longer. And it's just, I take these little clips for memory, and I share them also on social media. Um, it's the fire ceremony. I can't tell you. I mean, I write it down in my journal when I come home or the next day. It's been so profound, and it's not like a lot of work. Actually, it's more eating than working.
Yes, women
More
love
eating and
food.
chatting. But the space that you created there is very beautiful. Tell us a little bit about that, about opening your home. That's another thing. That's another layer. Working one on one is one thing, but then to open your home to so many people. I know there's been probably strangers that have walked into your
Yes.
homes out of.
Right.
And I've asked you one time, I said, are you comfortable? And she said, you just trust the energy so much. Which, come to think of it, you also do work, remote work. Your work is not just in person. Can you share about that? The reason I remember this too is because one time when I asked you, I said, well, should we restrict it to this or that? You said, don't worry. I can tell. I can tell even when people call me. I can feel the energy behind all of that. Tell us a little bit about that experience.
Uh, well, I do remote psychic healing. So if somebody has what I like to call perplexion, a problem, um, they call me on the phone and they tell me what's going on with them, what problems they're having, or something they can't reach or be done with. So I write it all down and then I hang up. And I literally can make a person small enough to fit into my hands. So I make that person small. I scan the body to see where the problem is held in the body. And then I watch at my third eye and I'll see a story or I'll hear words. So that will be the block to what they want, that's in front of what they want. So I take that block out with sound. And then I put my hands back and I see what will replace that block, what they can contain now that the block is gone. And I write those, I see words written, I write that down. I only tell a person exactly how I see and what I see. So I call the person back and tell that to them, and they usually can tell me a whole story behind it.
And I remember the last gathering, you mentioned that you've worked with people from all over the world.
Yes.
And so regarding, it doesn't matter the background, the culture, the country, the
It
distance.
doesn't matter. France, Australia, Japan, and locally. Especially during COVID when people couldn't leave their home. I got a lot of calls from all over the country. And it doesn't matter. I can feel everything. I also do physical healing remotely. I do the cranial work and the healing. I can scan the body. This way I can make the person small. I can turn the person upside down around. I can go into all the veins, the arteries. And the same way over the phone, they tell me what's going on. I hang up and do the work, and I call you back and tell you about it. And it works.
Jaya, are there anybody in your family that you know of that are healers?
No, there aren't.
You don't feel like this was passed down, perhaps, or do you?
I don't know. All I know about healing is my mother, when she was a child, she was under 5 years old and she stuttered. And her mother took her to a healer and she never stuttered again.
Oh.
So my mother believed in what I was doing. And
Interesting.
somehow my older aunts believed in it. And I've helped them out of pain and out of difficulties.
So they saw what you were.
And I asked them, you didn't question me. Why do you believe that this is working? And they were Catholic religion. And they said, well, there's a priest that goes around and touches people. Of course I believe. I didn't think of that.
It was that easy.
I never feel like I have to describe it.
Mm-hmm.
Once you feel it, you know it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have to make you believe it.
Mm-hmm.
And I also have no fear of any illness or disruption in people's lives because of how I healed. I trust totally in the healing. When the healing happens, I know it happens. And I don't worry about you when you leave my house. I don't pray for you. The healing was done through me.
Well, that's interesting because I did not know, for me, until I was in Lynn's school, how intricate and how part of our family healing was. I ended up finding out that, well, I knew that my father was a bone setter. So, because I watched him. My mother would bring this big tub of water, and we had these bars of olive soap that was made from olive oil mostly that we used for our skin, for our hair, for everything.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have a shampoo and this and all these different scents. And these huge men, like they were in tears as he just would sit. And I remember his face as he would just feel their ligaments and their leg. Then afterwards wrap it up. And they trusted him more than going to the doctors.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought that he had this gift. He was the head of the accounting department at the railroad station. So that was his daytime job. So this was just something that he didn't, it was a healing thing. He didn't even charge people money. But then I found out that his grandfather did that work. I'm sorry, his father, who would be my grandfather.
Oh, okay.
and that my great grandmother Maria was a healer,
Mm-hmm.
very well known healer, and and then I don't know what happened. This is interesting to see that over there it seemed like a known thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if over the years it wasn't looked upon the same way, because I don't see it as much in my community that somebody says that, or it's as available the way you just said that your family recognized it and embraced it, which
They
made a
did.
difference on the way you approached it.
Actually, the older ones, more than the 20 somethings and the 40 somethings and the 50 somethings, they still, well, they believe and they'll come to me for help and I can help them, but they usually take all the medicine first and go to the doctors first. So by the time they come to me, their problems are complicated. So they do believe in it. They trust me because things have happened in the family, where I've touched somebody and they have a realization or a healing.
So why did you start the fire ceremony, aside from the fact that you didn't want to bounce back and forth between my house and your Let's get to the bigger picture on why you did start it, and what do you feel the purpose is for those? What
Well,
was your intention for it,
my
and what do
intention,
people
my
do?
feeling for it is, of course, after going to Lynn Andrews School and seeing the value of
Yes.
fire ceremony. Uh, Also, my other thought was us women are so busy helping other people. I've always said that women go to church because they have or they used to. They have that 1 hour where nobody could call them on the phone.
Mm.
They don't have to make a dinner. They don't have to help anybody. So I'm giving you this hour where no one's going to call you, nobody's going to disturb you, and you don't have to help anybody. Just be. So I have guidelines. We don't talk about politics or religion. We don't talk about doctors and medicine. We don't
No
offer.
wonder we have so much fun there.
That's why we don't offer, a book to read,
Yeah.
a pill to take. We're just there, and I have a talking stick. So my question is, how are you today? And it's really hard to think about today. We think about who we helped yesterday, what we're going to do, what happened, but I want to know about today. And how are you? And if you want to cry, or if you're angry, or if a politician or a doctor or whatever did do something to you that day, go on. You can talk about it. If we have any worries about someone in our family who is ill or sick or disturbed, I have you write that down on a paper as well. So we have papers that we write down what we want to get rid of, what we want to come in our lives, what we're disturbed about, or we put a prayer for somebody that we're concerned about. And it'll go into the fire after you've talked with the talking stick. You burn your paper, and it goes up, to me, it goes up in smoke like a prayer to the Holy Spirit, or the great Supreme Being.
So, and this is why this aligns so much, and felt like, okay, when you made that invitation, it felt, well, it aligns so much with the Ancient Wisdom Council because of what we did with Lynn, with regards
Yeah.
to the fire, with regards to the talking stick, with regards to going around the four directions. I would like
Yes.
to share, let me see if I have, I don't know if this, it didn't come up. That's okay, but I was trying to put an image of Lynn, since we were
With her
both.
stick.
Yes, actually, that's what it was. Let me see if. No, I think it's only your video that was working, which is okay. I think people can Google her. I just figured she's probably
Oh,
here
yeah.
in spirit right now. I also want to mention, when I was in her school, from the very beginning, from the time that I connected with my first mentor, I started keeping a journal right away, because the things that they were passing on to me, I was like, oh my gosh, these women that are so wise. And it felt so old fashioned, in a sense where this is what we did thousands of years ago, is the women would pass on the wisdom to other women and so on. And the world actually doesn't have to be just women, but it just so happens the majority of us who are attracted to these teachings, because a lot of it comes from the feminine. And I remember I was jotting things down to the point where I ended up, it was a 4-year school. I ended up writing a 4-part memoir series, one book for each year, which is not even a third of what was taught, just whatever the, you can't really explain, like you said, a lot of the things that happen. But I do want to say something with regards to remote learning. I remember that when I first talked to Lynn and she suggested the school, my first thing I said, the first thing I said, well, I have kids. I can't travel anywhere. I was literally housebound during that time and wanted just to focus on raising them. And she said, well, this is a school without walls. And I said, so how do you give the teachings? She said, well, and that was because I had already finished my teachings with Chip and Susan, which was all in person. Like literally in their little, just like how I come to your house, it was that intimate. So it kind of felt strange that I would go from something so intimate to where, okay, she was explaining things are done over email, over the phone, over this one forum, and Zoom and anything like that was not even available at that time or an option. So when we hung up, I thought, how can we pass energy this way? This is ridiculous. Like, what is she talking about?
Yeah.
However, at the same time, that phone call, that initial phone call, which I have in this book, The Healing Wisdom for a Wounded World, it literally opens up with her asking me, were you abused as a child? Lynn asked. And my reaction to that. So the healing, we ended up in a conversation that I needed to get into, that I haven't had like for 40 years because nobody recognized. She tapped into something that was so important.
Yes.
So on one hand, I was thinking, this is not going to work. But then on the other hand, I thought, well, that one conversation just worked. And that's what drew me there. And at that time, I wasn't even working. I was considering, okay, this is a 4-year school. I have 2 little kids. The investment I was putting all these things, I was juggling all these thoughts in my head until I realized that I want to change. This was calling for me, and there was certain changes I wanted to make with my career and balancing my house life. What do you think stops people? I ended up not stopping myself, but I see a lot of people stopping themselves from when we talk and we say we're available. I know even like with regards to my writing and my filmmaking, and a lot of people want the collaboration but don't know how to work.
They don't do it. No.
They don't do it, and they don't do it in a professional sense that, I have these types of services or I do that, and it for them it's something where it's just like, okay, just like give me a quick answer type of thing. Or what do you think stops people from reaching out? And this is very important work that could change their life, and they use their time, energy, and money in other ways. Do you think it's the way we look at this, how we value or not value, or what is your perception on it?
Well, things are changing in that way. I think that there's been a lot of change. Like I talked about working at General Motors, the big 3 was like the father who took care of you. You worked there for security, for money. The church, the father, again, the father. We listen to that church. We don't change churches because if we find wrong, it's our problem. The father said so. So the father, who they look to, the doctor. The doctor tells them what to do. Even if they doubt it, they do it anyway. Take a pill. They don't even know what they're doing a lot of times. Father, I think things are politics, president, like the king, the queen of Canada, the president of the United States. It's again the father telling us what to do. This is beginning to unwind. This is beginning to change. We have a father, but he's not in a physical body. and we can look within. So a lot of things they are taking from this way of authority.
Hmm.
You know,
Like
that's
giving their power away
giving it away, wanting to be recognized by the Father, wanting to be like me, a good girl. And what does the Father say? And what does the church say? The doctor, the politician, and what's going to happen? And they are going. So many healers want to show the doctors what we can do, and they should know about that. No, we're an entity unto our own. Until we realize that we have everything inside of ourselves, and we have a father, mother within us as well, as if you want to look at it in a spiritual sense, we have that. But we have that authority within. But it's not authority, it's leadership. Leaders. We have leaders, not authority figures. You have to accept that Father energy within yourself before you will let go of it in the physical sense and begin to trust the heavenly energy, yourself, your intuition. People want to hear about it. They're really tempted. They're almost there, but they're going to talk to the doctor first.
That's a great observation. And yes, but one thing that you said in the beginning, and I agree with this, things are changing. I have noticed at many universities around the world where they are looking into into the study of the work, the type of the work that we do, or that has changed us in a scientific way.
There's science to this work.
There is a science
as well.
to this. Yes.
I was tested for several years by scientists because I had a doctor who came to me as a client, a patient, and they put me in the labs to be tested. And I won't go into all that, but I have been written up in a medical journal by some of the experiments. But when the scientists began questioning me, like he questioned me in a scientific way, what are you doing with your hands? Where are your eyes? What are you saying inside? And I'm like, well, I'm with God. I'm praying. And he said, yeah, I know that. But what about this other part, physical thing that you do with your eyes? We've seen many people like you. And you can repeat these things in experiment. Well, my whole body shook because I put it all to God. But something inside said to listen. This is very important. And it did help me to see both. But whoever is taking on, like the hospitals are accepting healing, they're teaching it.
Yes, they're looking.
But that's again looking to Father's approving of us. Just be yourself, and people will come to you.
Well, there's so much. I mean, this is obviously you've said with the years of the teachings and the healing work that we do, and that you've been doing for like 30 years now. I think the best thing is for people to experience it if they're interested. If you can give us a number that they can call, you have your site, Jaya's Healing Bodywork, and what's the number that they can call to find out more information?
The number you can call is 248-464-2049. And you can find out about the fires and our collaboration with the fires.
Yes, and I have postings on meetup.com as well as on Lynn V. Andrews' website. It's called the Ancient Wisdom Council. So we're continuing Lynn's legacy through both of our work, and just join us. I think it's really life-changing. Thank you, Jaya, so much.
Thank you, Anne.
And I'll see you at I love you too. Thank you. And I'll see you at the next fire ceremony, Ancient Wisdom Council. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and have a wonderful day.
Thanks.